Hello everyone, you're watching Pitch Battle. I'm your host, Indranil. It's taking time for me to sort of believe what happened. More than 24 hours, so we're the world champions, yes. And the best way to describe it's a narrative which is going to go on forever, I think, in Indian cricket. The start we got today, uh, winning the World Cup in the West Indies, that too after 11 years, winning an ICC tournament. I thought there isn't any better person to explain the narrative, as I said, than Dr. Shashi Tharoor. Sir, welcome to Pitch Battle. So many years, after 13 long years, winning a World Cup trophy, which is a big thing for
Yeah, the
us.
World Cup 13 years, but we did win an ICC trophy 11 years ago in winning the
Yeah,
Champions Trophy in 2013. But it's still more than a decade, and it felt even longer, didn't it?
yeah. But I mean, when did you watch the match?
I actually was in Thiruvananthapuram doing a thank you tour of the constituency. Managed to get back in when the match was just a couple of overs old. I had recorded the first couple of overs, so I watched the whole thing.
No, like
And
you always
it
do.
was the most exciting. I can't tell you. I mean, the those last 5, 6 overs were so riveting because 6 overs from the end, we thought it was all over. That 22 runs of Akshar Patel without finished, no chance now, and then um, and then we ended up with Bumrah bowling that incredible 2-run over and tightening up the screws. Everything that could go right went right thereafter. Hardik bowled well, and Bumrah came back for his final over and took that crucial wicket. And then the last over with Surya Kumar Yadav's fabulous catch.
But it's quite unexpected the way South Africans, just gave it away on a platter to India. I mean, we are lucky we won this in 2007 also on a similar note where Pakistan gifted us that scoop shot from the Pakistani batter. Yesterday also 30 runs from 30 odd balls and the way South Africans gave it away. Uh, your thoughts on
I
that?
don't think you're being fair at all. I don't think you're being fair at
Okay.
all. I think that I think the South Africans played outstandingly. They played a really good game. People, make runs by by playing shots, and they also get out playing shots. So, I mean, it so happens that our bowlers bowled well enough, and our fielders caught well enough. Come on, I don't see anything that we should be ashamed of at all. It's not that they gave it away. I think they played exceptionally well. I think they were right on top of the game. So I think it was a very good performance for South Africa. We should give them full credit. I think it's very unfair to accuse them of choking yet again and so on, because they didn't choke. I think they played well. We played well, and in the crucial overs towards the end of the match, we played better.
Absolutely, we did. But I mean, that Surya Kumar catch you talked about, it's such a regular phenomena when we look at IPL games. I mean, we've seen it. So many cricketers from different countries playing for different franchisees taking such catches. And IPL has also contributed. Earlier we used to talk about how we used to lose T20 World Cup right after IPL. And everyone used to blame IPL because of overdose of cricket. But what will you tell them right now?
No, I think obviously it helped India that our players were so fresh from the IPL, and
Yeah,
indeed other players who had played in the IPL, like Travis Head, also showed the advantages of the IPL because they came into the World Cup raring to go and did
yes,
very well. In many ways, the IPL is extremely good preparation for a T20 World Cup, provided, of course, you don't get injured. If you get injured, that's another matter. But no one gets exhausted by bowling a series of 4 over games, and no one gets exhausted playing maybe, a good long innings is about half of a 20-over match. I don't think that anyone is getting worn out from playing T20. It may be different if you are, uh, coming in from a more exhausting, demanding thing than that. But I think all those who had IPL experience this year did well in the World Cup, and that we shouldn't lose sight of.
but I beg to differ because Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya, they had a horrible time for Mumbai Indians, and we were fearing quite apprehensive what
Yeah,
they
but
would do.
the horrible time is what helped them to iron out what they were doing wrong, right? In
Yeah,
fact, the fact is that because they had played so much and not done that well, they were able to get things better and get better. I mean, Kohli did very well in the IPL, did very badly in the first stages of the World Cup. But it's precisely by playing, ironing out his mistakes, figuring out what they were, practicing in the nets and so on, that he finally got it right. So I think that, I don't know, I'm still, okay, I'm old fashioned, but I believe that the best way to play better cricket is to play cricket. I mean, period. Um, I'm not a big fan of the theory that you need vast amounts of rest or that you need uh, to slow down or that you either have to be in a purple patch all along or whatever. You just keep playing, you get some things right, you get some things wrong, you get better from what you get wrong, and you do well what you do, well, you do better what you've done well. So the best way that the traditional cricketers got better was by playing more and more, and I think that's what these guys have done too.
Absolutely. And the way they say goodbye to T20 cricket, T20 format, Rohit, Virat, and of course Ravindra Jadeja. Your thoughts on those players?
In the case of Rohit, he's of course the oldest of the lot and he's had the longest experience. He probably felt he had nothing more to prove. I mean, he's had 5 centuries in the T20 format. He's had everything. He's captained India. I think he just decided that it was time to start now, beginning to take it a bit easy and looking, frankly, at his desire to extend himself as India's test captain. It's not a bad idea. I think he will soon probably phase himself out of ODIs too before too long. And as for Ravindra Jadeja, though I like much about him as a cricketer, he had a very mediocre T20 career. If you look at his 70 odd matches, 72 or 74 matches, no exceptional performances, a top score in the 40s, not somebody who shone. I think his best bowling performance was a 1 3-wicket haul. This is not somebody who's had a stellar career in T20s. And frankly, after this World Cup, I think Akshar had done so much better that in situations where we needed one left-arm spinner, it was one left-arm spinner, come batter, come all-rounder. It was going to be Akshar and not Jadeja. And Chahal would probably have come in Indian conditions in place of Jadeja. So I think that Jadeja saw the writing on the wall and quit before being dropped, which I think is fine. It's good to quit on a high. And certainly when many people still feel you're good enough for the team. I think that what is very interesting about Jadeja is his second coming as a test cricketer. He was shining in the white ball format and doing not so well in the test format till about 3 4 years ago. And now he's become an outstanding test player, particularly with the bat, which is something no one would have anticipated, I think, given his first years as a test cricketer. And I'd love to see him prolong his career in test cricket, becoming an absolute stalwart of the Indian middle order.
Cricketers do retire, but politicians don't.
Yeah. Politicians, actually, I would like to think that I will know when to call it quits. I mean, I've always been profoundly impressed by Gavaskar's famous line back in 1987 when he shocked us all by retiring. And he said, I wanted to quit when people asked why rather than wait till they asked why not,
Yeah,
which I think is something that politicians could also benefit from.
absolutely. So true. But Virat Kohli, I mean, playing that knock, which was basically he anchored the innings for India after India lost those 2 early wickets. 37 deliveries he played without scoring a boundary.
Yeah, and
Uh,
then 50 of 48 was actually
yes,
rather underwhelming. And I think he was right to not acknowledge the 50 because it really was not a good 50 in those circumstances.
and the remarkable bit was everyone contributed to that win. Which
Absolutely.
the way
Bumrah's
Bumrah
bowling,
bowled.
fantastic bowling. Those overs, and particularly the fact that he did, I think it's 4 overs for 18, wasn't it? Just amazing. But let's not forget Arshdeep also, 4 overs for 20. This is remarkable stuff from the top two basemen. And Hardik, in the end, his first over was bad. His last two were decisive and they were excellent. So really, we have to praise all three pacemen. And of course, the batting of Akshar, his bowling let him down this time. The batting was very good.
But who do you think would be our next T20 captain?
Well, I would personally prefer Bumrah, but I suspect that Hardik has the inside track. It's between the two of them anyway. With Shubman Gill being groomed, I think, for a understudy role, he's being asked to captain the side in Zimbabwe while both Bumrah and Hardik are rested. But I think, I really like everything I see of Bumrah. I just think he's one of the smartest cricketers around. And he has led India in a test match, and Hardik has led India in white ball cricket. Both of them have been tried out. I think, given the power equations in the BCCI, it's possible that it'll be one of the two of them, and I'm not betting on which one. But my own vote would be for Bumrah at this point.
But Bumrah is not a
Hardik
long-term
should have a
solution.
longer career. I'm sorry.
I mean, we should be looking at a long-term solution. How about Rishabh Pant?
No, so Rishabh Pant, Shubman Gill, these are all options in the future. I mean, I would even want to have Sanju Samson in the mix if he finally proves himself in Zimbabwe. He's
Yeah,
never been given a decent chance as the number one choice.
yeah.
And if he can get a full tour of 5 T20s to establish himself, and don't forget he's got an ODI century as well. I think he could be a very, very good option as a white ball captain too. He's very calm, very sensible, handled Rajasthan Royals extremely well now the last few seasons, brought them to the finals twice, to the semis. This is a very, very good and deeply underrated captain as well as player. So I'd like to see him in the mix as well. So I think we have no shortage of choices, Indranil, and I wouldn't mind at all in India 11 with both Pant and Samson. Pant probably being the better keeper and Samson the better batsman, the more reliable batsman.
The new coach. I mean, I don't know who's going to be the new coach. Everyone is Gautam Gambhir, but Rahul Dravid. Do you like the fact that he's going out on a high like this? Could have stayed
Oh, I
back.
don't
Is
like
he
the fact that
really?
he's going out. I don't like the fact that he's going out. I wish he had 3 more years in the job. He's just really been
Yes.
terrific for India. He's so sensible, so calm, so mature, so self-effacing, and at the same time, he's obviously very, very much earned the respect and trust of his team. So it's a real loss. Whatever happens, I'm sorry to see him going, but if he must go, I'd rather he went out on a high because he deserves nothing less. He's a terrific guy. I might say that I know Gautam Gambhir personally, and I think he's also terrific. He'll bring a lot of intensity to the game. That's different in a different way from Dravid. Not that Dravid isn't intense. I think he's just quieter about it. Gambhir will wear it more on his sleeve. But these are both fine cricketers. So, I have no I have nothing against Gautam coming in. It's just that I think he could have waited a bit while Dravid had a little longer, except Dravid didn't want it to. Didn't want to continue, I gather.
I know, but this is the kind of sad. Even I am also, and the way he was, Virat went and gave that cup to him, and the way he held it and lifted it, and he was like behaving. First time I've seen him behaving like a kid. Rahul Dravid, it was amazing sight, sir. Uh, I was so personally happy seeing. I mean, such a gentleman cricketer. Always never won something as a cricketer, but as a coach, he's done it. And what a magical way. But from here on, what do you see Indian cricket progressing further with giant steps? We should be winning all the tournaments because this was a jinx we had to break. Uh, and no looking back from here, the kind of talent we have
Yeah,
in the
that's it.
country.
So I'd like to see us entering an era of dominance to rival the West Indies of the 70s, 60s,
Yes.
70s, 80s, and the Australians of the 90s and the first decade of the century. There have been teams that have had that kind of dominance where everyone expected them to win against anyone, any conditions, anywhere. And that's what I want India to be. We've never been there. We won tournaments and then promptly failed to, keep that up. I remember '83 we won the World Cup in England, and later that winter the West Indies came to India and walloped us 5-0 in the Test series. So, I mean, it's just we just haven't had an extended run of dominance in the sport. And I'd love to see that happen. I'd love to see India becoming that kind of team. For all the reasons you yourself mentioned, Indranil, the existing amount of talent we have, which is so considerable, the fact that this talent involves people coming up at all levels from all over the country, from all sorts of backgrounds. It's a much more diverse pool now.
Yes.
Cricket's no longer an elite sport. It reaches every mohalla. We have railway ticket collectors and rickshaw drivers' sons who become international stars playing for India. We've got all of this going for us. And I think that with this kind of talent pool, this kind of depth, this kind of population base, this kind of resources and money coming into the sport, and the fan base to encourage people, I don't see why we shouldn't be by far the best team in the world. I want it to be a situation where the Indian second or third 11 is better than the next best test country. And we can be like that. So I'd like to see really a formidable machine coming into place. And if with all the advantages we have, we can't do that, then I have to ask what's wrong with us as a people. Because we really should have every reason to be as formidable as those great teams, as I mentioned earlier, of the past, like the West Indies and the old Australians.
I hope it happens, sir. As they say, "Aapke muh mein ghee shakkar." But how did you celebrate the win? I mean, I it's been more than 24 hours. I'm still struggling to sort of find my feet and make myself believe, yes, we have won.
Well, politics doesn't leave me any time to celebration. We finished the match around midnight, watched a few minutes of the emotions on the screen on both sides,
Yeah,
which was really moving. I mean, I really felt what these guys had gone through. Hardik Pandya in tears,
yeah.
and the South Africans in tears, David Miller in tears. It was just they all went through so much, and it just showed how much the whole game meant to everybody.
Thank you, uh, Tharoor sir, for coming on Pitch Battle and sharing your sentiments.